was wonderful to drive around Santa Monica in those days with Arnold, because we'd come up to stoplight somewhere and there'd be UCLA cheerleader in a red convertible at the stoplight, and Arnold would flex his tricep at her. And it was the most extraordinary thing the woman had ever seen in her life.
I loved flexing my biceps in front of the girls. It was the funniest thing ever.
Arnold always wanted to be the greatest bodybuilder in the world.
I want to go to America. I want to go and be there and work my way up to become the greatest bodybuilder of all times.
And he knew one thing. If you want to be the greatest, you need to have a perfect physique, and you need a serious set of arms. Big, full, impressive arms. They were mandatory. We're going back in time, back to the 1970s, the era of the greatest bodybuilder in the world, to see how he actually built those legendary arms. No fancy machines, no high-tech equipment, just small, dusty gyms, barbells, dumbbells, and pure discipline. So when we talk about arms, we're really talking about two major parts: the biceps and the triceps. If you want big arms, you have to build both. So let's break it down one by one and see exactly how Arnold developed each of them. First, let's start with the biceps. This is one of the most basic exercises you can do to grow your biceps, a barbell curl. Simple, but powerful. And honestly, almost everyone can build size from this movement if they do it right. Arnold loved barbell curls. But when the weight started getting really heavy, he didn't stay perfectly strict the whole time. He would use a little body movement, a little controlled cheating, just enough to get the weight up, and then he'd fight it on the way down.
I was up doing reps with 275 in the barbell curl. Many times we would start out with a heavy weight, and do just one rep. Then have them pull off plates on the curl, but just enough that they cannot do 2 reps. Then pull off plates and do 3 reps, then pull off more plates and do 4 reps after that. And so this is how I would go up until, without ever putting the bar down, to really let the bicep know, you don't know what's coming. You're not gonna get used to my training method. I'm gonna have all kinds of tricks up my sleeve. But I mean, it was absolutely essential to do the barbell curl to create the thickness of the bicep. I would do a barbell curl with an easy curl bar. I would say that's kind of like would be the most basic exercise, and I think it's something that everyone would grow if they would do a barbell curl that is done in the beginning very strict. Then when it gets heavier with a little cheating, and then when it gets really heavy, more cheating. There's nothing wrong with that. But barbell curl is the most basic exercise. I think it's the first exercise that I've done.
They didn't just stand there and do curls quietly. They attacked them. They would start with the barbell, curl it, then hand it off to each other without even putting it down, back and forth, no rest.
And I'm doing now my 10 reps. And now I give it to you, right? You're standing right in front of me, you're my training partner. It means that don't put it down because that's the rule, right? Yeah. So I give it to you, now you do your 10 reps. Well, after your 10 reps, I got to take the barbell again.
They were pushing each other to the absolute limit. It became a challenge.
I cannot walk away to the water fountain because otherwise I'm gonna act like a loser.
And the rule was simple. The moment you let that bar drop to the floor, you lose.
Went back and forth, and your arms felt like falling off. Afterwards, we put the arm up here because it was hurting so much. We put it up here, that hurt. Then we were just letting it hang down. That hurt, then we put it back up again. No matter where you put it, it hurt. But that was great, because that means that the muscle got it.
Next exercise for biceps, one-arm concentration curls. This was one of Arnold's favorite moves for building that crazy biceps peak.
One of my all-time favorites, the single-arm concentration curl. I've been doing this movement since the very beginning of my career.
If you've watched Pumping Iron, you've definitely seen him doing this. bending there, locked in, curling with total focus.
When you do it, don't just curl halfway. Bring the weight all the way up towards your deltoid. Really finish the rep. That full range puts more stress on the outer head of the biceps.
This exercise is all about isolation. You're targeting one arm at a time, really squeezing the muscle, really feeling it work. It's perfect for making sure both arms grow evenly and for carving out that sharp, defined peak that made Arnold's biceps so iconic.
And that's what helps bring out that sharp, high biceps peak everyone wants.
And then we did another photo shoot in New York at the studio. I'm done. So she puts the camera away and I walk over. Dolly Parton says to me, says, let me see those biceps. So I'm hitting a bicep shot. And Annie Leibovitz says, oh, this is great. Quickly go over there. This is just for myself. Go behind her and do the double bicep again. And Dolly, you just go with your arms back so it looks like they're your biceps. And this is really great. And she had this little camera, not the big one, the Hasselblad or the Rolex, none of that, just the little one. That was the shot that was then on the fucking cover.
Now moving on to the next one, dumbbell curls. This is a classic. It hits the whole bicep. With dumbbells, you can really focus on that full contraction every single rep.
Start with the dumbbells hanging down around your thigh area. From there, bring them up slowly, all the way towards your shoulders. Then control them on the way back down. No rushing.
Since it's one arm at a time, you have no choice but to concentrate. One side, then the other. No hiding. And here's the thing. Arnold didn't obsess over being perfectly strict all the time. For him, it wasn't about textbook form. It was about moving the weight in a way that forced the muscle to grow.
And if you're doing this on an incline bench, don't set the bench too high. Keep it at a lower angle. That way your biceps can fully stretch at the bottom. And stay under constant tension through the entire movement. That stretch at the bottom, that's where a lot of the growth happens.
Then Arnold would move on to the next exercise, preacher curls. Back then, they didn't have all those fancy machines you see in gyms today. No cables everywhere, no high-tech equipment. They had a barbell and a preacher bench. And that's what they needed for this exercise.
This is a true classic, a staple in any serious arm routine. Preacher curls are amazing for isolating the biceps, really locking them in and forcing them to do all the work. That's what helps build that peak and that thickness everyone is chasing. When you do it, make sure your elbows stay firmly planted on the pad. Don't let them lift. And focus on slow, controlled reps as you curl the weight up and bring it back down. That control is what makes it effective.
How many people don't know that your bicep gets developed by not only curling but also turning the wrists? So what I did was
right here,
I ended up putting more weight on the inside than on the outside. So that when I curl up like that, it was really hard to get this dumbbell in here because this weight was weighing down and I was kind of like putting it in and it cramped my bicep.
Now let's move on to triceps. If you really want complete arms, you can't just focus on biceps. You've got to train the triceps hard too. That's what really gives the arm its overall size and thickness. And when it came to triceps, one of Arnold's favorite exercises was the cable press down.
What would be your go-to tricep exercise then?
My favorite was a triceps extension with a cable, just pressing down. That one worked for me the best. But I have to say that people shouldn't really pay much attention to that because Everyone has a different kind of a build. To me, the regular push down on the cable was a much better exercise, a much more effective exercise.
And for the next triceps exercise, tricep bench dips. No fancy equipment needed for this one, just a bench. That's it. As you get stronger over time, you can start adding weight. Stack those plates on your lap and just keep repping it out. If you watch Arnold, you can see he goes as deep as he possibly can. Full stretch at the bottom.
By the end of this workout, your arms should be completely pumped, filled up with blood. And honestly, there's nothing that compares to that feeling.
Sit right on the edge of the bench, hands about shoulder width apart. Keep your chest up and posture solid. And then lower yourself down under control before pressing back up strong. Simple movement, serious results.
Posing is so much part of training that you should never do an exercise without hitting a pose right afterwards. If you do a chin up, why not hit the back pose? When you do a chest exercise, why not hit a chest exercise, a chest pose, or a most muscular pose? When you do a bicep exercise, why not hit a bicep pose? I mean, that is always part of it. So posing throughout your training is absolutely essential, besides just the posing training afterwards.
All right, let's get into the final triceps exercise, the lying French press. This time, we're hitting the triceps from a completely different angle. Instead of keeping the elbows straight up, you can let them drift slightly back and bring the weight down behind your head. That position gives you a deeper stretch.
Keep your elbows tucked in tight. Lower the weight down toward your forehead slowly, with full control. Don't just drop it. Feel every inch of the movement and always keep that mind-muscle connection. That's the key.
The whole point of the French press is to isolate the triceps and really stretch them under load. Different angle, different tension, serious growth.
When you're doing a bicep curl, you can't just stand there and mindlessly move the weight. You have to concentrate. You curl it up. You flex the bicep hard at the top. Then you lower it down slowly and let it stretch. And while you're doing it, you're thinking about that peak. You're picturing it rising, getting higher with every rep. You can't switch off. You have to stay locked in the whole time. That focus, that's what makes the difference.